Alright guys, hopefully you all had a good weekend, whatever it is you did, which isn't much if you're like me living in the UK with the lockdown ongoing. Now Title Update 12 PTS has been live a couple of days now. There's a few things I wanted to cover, some things that were not included in the PTS patch notes, these are good things, and then go over the optimization as well and costs for that because they seem quite steep. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like and let's begin. So first up guys, we've got some good news and it's about loadouts. Now for some time I've seen plenty of feedback from players wanting more loadouts than the 12 that we currently have, and I'm pretty sure the devs have never officially announced an increase. In fact, I think they actually dismissed the idea in previous State of the Games when people were asking in chat. I think they came out and said that it wasn't happening. Well, for TU12 I believe that's going to change, and loadouts are being increased to 16, which I think is really good news. Now I personally don't have access to the PTS. I actually found this out when I was watching EK1 Gaming livestream. He was live streaming the PTS last week, and I noticed the amount of loadout slots had increased to 16. And it does make sense, you know, with more and more items being added to the game with each season, this season coming up being the last one of this year, Season 4, and with the increased inventory size from 100 to 150 with TU12, having more loadouts really feels like it was kind of a must to accompany these changes, but there was no mention of this in the patch notes that I covered on Friday. There might be now, I've not actually looked, but there certainly wasn't on Friday. Now this is a good addition to the game, there's no doubt about it. I'm a little bit surprised the devs didn't disclose this within the patch notes, because the devs could do with some of the brownie points, unless we're not getting more loadouts, and this is just a PTS thing. On the other hand, I'm not surprised because the devs do have a habit of not including stuff that people want in the game within the patch notes. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about that. Now the devs haven't officially confirmed the increase. Well, not from what I've found. I've looked on the forums and the official stuff. I've seen nothing. So it's possible this doesn't make it to the live game, and this is just a PTS thing when the TU12 is actually released in the next kind of couple of weeks or so. Can you imagine though? There's just no way that would happen. Surely they would include it in the PTS like that. Something that I think a lot of people have been asking for, and a lot of people are going to be happy about, and then it doesn't make it to the live game. I'm sure it's coming, guys, whether it's confirmed or not. Moving on, and firstly I just want to thank fellow content creator EK1 Gaming for allowing me to take screenshots of his stream last week for use in this video. I really appreciate it. Now the optimization station is a very surprising addition with TU12 and Season 4. What's not surprising, however, is how divided the community is on this returning feature from The Division. Now, prior to this news, you could find plenty of forum posts and social media posts asking for this to be added to the game as a way to kind of mitigate the loot quality topic, which has been so prevalent throughout the lifespan of this game. In the comments of those posts, you would find plenty of people agreeing, and plenty of others not, but the devs decided adding this feature was the right thing to do. And as you can see, I actually put up a Twitter post about this, and yeah, it's very split as to whether people want this or not, but it is coming. So how does it compare with The Division? Well, after watching EK1 stream, one thing that I did notice, and everyone noticed actually, was the cost of optimizing your gear. In The Division, this was added as part of update 1.8, and from what I can remember, because I'm too lazy to research it, each optimization cost credits. I think it was around 250 credits, but that may have varied depending on the gear. I actually don't think it did. It may have done, I can't remember. And then 50 Division Tech. Again, I can't remember exactly what it was, but what I do remember is for a lot of people, the cost of optimizing was fairly cheap, and it meant players were able to pretty much max out their stuff really quickly when it was introduced. Also, if I remember correctly, when using the optimization station in The Division, it actually optimized all of your attributes that weren't at max every time it was used. You know, further making it really quite quick to max out your stuff. This was a true kind of end game feature in The Division, and we know now that it doesn't actually work the same way as The Division. Well, firstly, you have to optimize each attribute at one time, but what I really want to focus more on for this part of the video is here in The Division 2, at least from the first round of the PTS, it's way more expensive. It's actually gone the opposite way, where it's going to take some serious grinding just to optimize one attribute. I want to take a look at some of the screenshots from EK1 stream. So this is the first one. It shows the watch rewards. So as you can see, There's shade calibration and field recon data they've been added. What you might notice straight away is that for every shade level, you can get either 1 shade calibration or 2 field recon data. Now, how does that compare? How many do we need? Well, here's another image which shows a Wyvern piece of gear with 7.4% skill damage. Now, what you're going to notice at the bottom is the cost of optimizing that gear. 35 shade calibration and 88 field recon data. So you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's going to take 44 shade levels to achieve both of these requirements for one attribute, but surely you can get these materials from other sources. And you'd be right, you can. But what I want to show you is this forum post on the Ubisoft PTS forums from Max1209, who breaks it down. And it's staggering, guys. It's truly staggering. So guys, I'm not going to go over all of this because we'll be here forever, and I could probably do this in a whole new video, but I just want to briefly show you this kind of calculation. So with this particular person here, what they've done is they've showed you upgrading a marksman rifle, the Mantis, from 14.5% to 15%. Now, how these calculations are worked out, I don't totally know. In order to get 14.5% to 15%, you do need to recalibrate twice, which is why you've got the initial recalibration here, and then when you need to recalibrate again to get up to that 15%, you've got the secondary one. So you'd add these two together. So you've got 1111 for marksman rifle alloy, and then 145 marksman rifle alloy for both. And that's where you get these total figures. And again, I don't know, this person says it here, I don't know how you find any logic in the values required to get those percentages up to the maximum amount. But what it says here, how can I acquire them? So if you want 256 marksman rifle alloy, you can either loot and dismantle 256 marksman rifles. If I'm able to loot 1 marksman rifle per minute, that's going to take over 4 hours of continuous gameplay, but usually it takes longer. Agreed, it normally would take way longer than that. Or you can convert 200 scavenging points to credit and buy marksman rifles from a vendor and dismantle them. Conversion can be done in minutes. For you to acquire 200 points, it takes 40 hours continuous XP farming gameplay. Converting scavenging points to materials and crate bundles costs much more higher, not worth to calculate with it. So that's just the marksman rifle alloy. We then got the field recon data, so you need 129 of those. On heroic level, you'll need to capture 43 control points. If you do 1 control point per 10 minutes, it takes more than 7 hours of continuous gameplay. And then if you want to convert, or you could convert 65 scavenging points to the material, can be converted in minutes. To acquire it needs 13 hours of continuous gameplay. And then you need 77 of the Cleaner Tactical Assessment. On heroic difficulty, Cleaner's checkpoint 2 named enemies drop 8 CTA total, capturing 10 checkpoints enough to get to this mount. If FRD is acquired from checkpoints 4s, enough CTA earn no additional time needed. Craft 8 packages of CTA from converting scavenging points, 8 times 7 points for ceramics, 8 times 10 points for titanium, 8 times 10 points for filament. Total 216 scavenging points, can be converted in minutes. To acquire scavenging points needs 44 hours. And then 51 SR being shade recalibration. Earn 12 from daily and weekly projects, because if you didn't know, guys, shade recalibration is tied to projects. So earn 12 from daily weekly projects per week, total 4 weeks plus 1 day without DZ and conflict projects. Or you can convert 51 scavenging points to SR. Acquire scavenging points needs 11 hours of continuous gameplay. Note, on heroic level, by completing checkpoint 4 and killing NPCs during capture street spawns, 3 checkpoints gives 2 shade watch levels. Over 1000 shade level, it automatically becomes scavenging points. So 43 CP4 capture generates at least 20 scavenging points, and then it just goes through the ways to efficiently do it. But what you're already seeing here is just how long it would take to just get this one rolled mantis from 14.5% to 15% max. You're looking at hours and hours and hours. And the big one here, I think the main issue here is actually this. It's the shade recalibration. The fact that this is tied to projects, which again are dailies and weeklies, so you can't just farm it daily. You can't just go in there and just keep farming for hours. You got to do your daily and then your weekly. It's almost time gated in the sense that you've only got basically a brief period of time, or you have to do it through the shade levels, and you're going to need 51 shade levels in order to get that, and that's when you're over 1000. So yeah, the amount that you need here compared to what you had in the Division 1 is just really quite a lot. Now, I am going to do a separate video on this, I think, just to talk about what I actually think about this, whether I think this is a good idea or not. I'm just going to get some other people's opinions on whether this is acceptable or not. But yeah, that's what we're looking forward to here, guys. Again, I'll talk about this in a future video, but this is what we've currently got for PTS Phase 1. I do think that the devs are going to make some changes to this with PTS Phase 2, but as of right now, this is what you can expect, guys. You're looking at, hours upon hours, if not weeks, to get just one attribute role, one optimization role. And let's not forget that this is 14.5 to 15, so this is kind of at the high end. They do start off smaller. You start off with, are going to need far less, but it sucks up all of your materials so quickly. You're going to have to do a lot of grinding, guys. A lot of grinding to even just get one optimization going. The last thing is the new gear set, whilst new, will not replace the old faithful for skill builds, and that's hardwired. With that said, Empress International, the new brand set, will replace hardwired and Murakami for the best 3-piece combination for skill damage builds within Title Update 12, as long as nothing changes before release. Now, from the testing that I've seen, skill builds are going to be stronger than they are right now with TU12, but the new rigger gear set appears to be underperforming, so expect some changes there. Tomorrow I might go into the reason why in more detail, so stay tuned for that. With that said, that's the end of the video. Thanks very much if you did stick around until the end of this one. As I said, tomorrow I may go into more detail about why this new brand set Empress International is going to be the best kind of 3-piece in the game for skill builds with TU12. I will also be going over the vendor reset as usual. So if you want to stay around for those, make sure you got notifications turned on. And with that said, guys, epic out.